What happened to 3T? In the mid-90s, when the world was already crazy about certain members of the Jackson family, they got the news that their next generation was also coming into play. Just like how Michael Jackson first started by forming a band with his brothers and then he became the breakout star, his nephews also took a similar route and decided to make their debut by forming a brother band. Hello everyone and welcome to True Celebrity Stories. Today we're here to discuss what happened to 3T. Before we get started, don't forget to like, comment and share. Also, subscribe and hit the bell icon so you'll never miss any updates. Background of 3T. 3T featured three sons of Tito Jackson, who was Michael Jackson's brother. He got married to Dolores Jackson at 18 and had three sons, Toriano and Daryl Jackson Jr., also known as Taj, Terrell Adrian Jackson, and Tito Joe Jackson, also known as TJ. Tito and Dolores did their best to raise their children in a normal environment. When the boys were asked if they were ever given a special treat in school, they quickly busted the myth. No. We went to a very small private school. When we started, at about the age of 3, we didn't know how big the Jacksons were, so we grew up learning about them in the same way that our friends did. There were also quite a few kids with famous parents, though it wasn't a particularly rich school. We considered ourselves normal, and that's how we were treated. The couple got separated in 1993, and sadly Dolores passed away in August 1994. She was at her boyfriend's place and was found lying dead in the swimming pool. In 2000, her boyfriend was charged with second-degree murder and got sentenced to 15 years. The boys were really close to their mother. Her sudden death completely shook them. Debut album. After a year, Michael signed the boys to his own label, MJJ Entertainment. The media hype was crazy around the boys due to them being related to Janet and Michael Jackson. Everyone was looking forward to what they would bring to the table. When the boys asked about Michael Jackson's input in their life and career, they said, "Uncle Michael has helped our parents with our upbringing very well anyway. We'll always be grateful to him for helping us with the first steps into the music biz, and he's still helping us." We played all the songs of the new album for him. He had quite a lot of criticism, but I have to admit the album has only gotten better from it. In 1995, the poster of their debut album Brotherhood was unveiled. When the album was released, it sold around 3 million copies worldwide. Their debut single, Anything, was a global hit. Their songs were gaining immense popularity in Europe, especially singles like 24/7, Tease Me, and Gotta Be You. MJ's craze was at its peak in the 90s. Who knew one song with him can turn the boys into an overnight sensation? Soon they realized the much-awaited single, Why. It was a duet with MJ, and the video of this song was a big deal for the people. After the success of Why, the boys were asked if they would collaborate with Janet, next to which they replied, "Yeah, we would." When we recorded our album, Auntie Janet was on tour, so it wasn't possible, but maybe it'll happen on our second album. A lot of people ask us why we had Michael on the album, but basically any artist who had the opportunity to record with him would take it, so why should we refuse? At one point, our record company wanted Why to be the first single, but we convinced them that it was important to establish ourselves first. Otherwise, everyone would have accused us of only succeeding because of Michael. In the year 1996, 3T emerged as the second best-selling group in Europe. They were only behind Spice Girls. Soon after the album was released, they got a lot of recognition, especially in international countries. Seeing all the love, 3T started touring overseas, especially in Europe. In their free time, they also started writing and producing songs for many movies like The Jacksons, An American Dream, Free Willy 2, The Adventure Home, Men in Black, and Trippin'. Their European tour was a huge success, and this showed that the boys had the potential to become international superstars. After Brotherhood, 3T had sung more than 20 songs for their next album. They shortlisted the number till 12 and were ready to release their next album. But then Michael's relationship with Sony went south and the album never saw the light of the day. After the fans got the news, they started calling it the Lost Album. Second album. After delivering a moderately hit debut album, 3T just vanished from the scene. They delivered a successful tour in Europe and then decided to write and produce for other artists. TJ and Terrell even wrote and produced songs for Janet Jackson. Right after their first album, there was one question that the guys constantly had to answer, no matter what, and it was if they would have been famous if it wasn't for their last name. They had the perfect reply for it. "I do actually. I think it might have taken longer to be recognized, but we still would have made it. We were lucky to be given great advice by so many talented people who happened to be our relatives, and of course, being Jacksons helped us get a foot in the door, but we've been working at this for 10 years, so I wouldn't say it was easy. Even now, there are people who do us down because of who we are. We've had a gold-selling single in the States, but we still can't get onto the top 2 chat shows hosted by Jay Leno and David Letterman. I think the only difference is that if we weren't Jacksons, we might easily have been sportsmen rather than musicians. Other artists for whom they produced songs were Bruno Mars and Lindsay Lohan. In 2003, they signed with the French label TF1 NRJ. In the early 2000s, also, they were regularly touring in certain parts of Europe like Netherlands, France, and Belgium. Their deal with the French label didn't come to any conclusion, and in 2004, they decided to go for Dutch label called Digidance. On 23 March 2004, they released their long-due second album and titled it Identity. Two singles from their album were released, Sex Appeal and Stuck on You. Stuck on You was a cover of Lionel Richie's song. When it was released, none of the singles were available outside of Europe, but in 2008, 3T made it available both on iTunes and Amazon. 3T after the second album. In 2007, all the brothers appeared on This Is David Guest show. One episode of the show was dedicated to the home life of the brothers. The cameras showed around their house in California, which was a treat for the fans as the Jackson family is known to be private. In 2008, the Jackson family took part in a Channel 4 documentary project. They stayed at a rental holiday pad for 6 weeks for filming purposes. This time, even Tito joined them, but Terrell did not. The highlight of the documentary was them attending a fan event arranged in honor of Michael Jackson. They also included him by calling him, and he talked to the fans on the phone's loudspeaker. The brothers even took part in another reality show called The Jackson: A Family Dynasty. The main theme of the show was for Tito to convince the boys to relaunch their careers. 3T after Michael's death. On 30th June 2009, the world got the sad news of Michael Jackson's death. The news was equally shocking to the Jackson family, if not more. MJ was not just TJ, Taj, and Adderall's uncle, he was also their mentor. He was the one who gave them their first big break. The boys then got together in 2010 on the 52nd Grammy Awards to show their support to their cousins. Prince Michael Jr. and Paris Michael Catherine Jackson were present at the award ceremony to accept the Lifetime Achievement Award on their father's behalf. The same year, they also sang We Are the World together in the aid of Haiti Appeal. The songs featured the biggest names from the industry, and the boys did not take the lead part, they only provided background vocals. In 2011, 3T performed for the tribute concert of their uncle Michael Forever. They sang their hit duet Why and Jackson's famous song Heartbreak Hotel. While they were performing Why, they were visibly distraught and finally broke down in tears by the end of the performance. 3T's reunion. In 2014, it was announced 3T would be on the second season of The Big Reunion. On 27 March 2014, they performed together for the Big Reunion concert in London. Later that year, they also played at a Back to the 90s concert which was completely sold out. When the band went on a hiatus, Terrell was the only one who worked on his solo stuff. In 2012, he released 2 EPs, first one being My Life Without You and the second one was Undeniable. Both albums had songs as a tribute to his mother and uncle. 3T's legal battle. Almost a decade after the Tell All documentary was released, once again accusing Michael of being a pedophile, every publication was releasing all the stuff from the past. One such publication even got the 3T boys included in their claim. They alleged that the pictures of the boys from their early teenage years were used to lure the other young children. Understandably, Jackson boys were furious and decided to sue the publication. Since then, there has been nothing more heard from either side, but after years of this case being in court, Michael Jackson was finally acquitted from his filthy accusation in 2005. If you liked this video, please subscribe to our channel and hit that bell button to get the notifications. Also, don't forget to watch other videos on this channel that explore more topics like this.